If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music he hears, however measured or far away. Henry David Thoreau. Good afternoon. I will probably not make this very long. Definitely not over an hour. And it was interesting conversation at the end of Nathan Oakley's second live stream on his second channel. And it starts getting away from flat earth debate, but it has some context within it. But I'm going to go off of that. I think I'll start there, because I can start from a lot of different places. So let's give it a listen.
Very concise.
Do you realize his answer, James? So you only have two choices for how we and the universe are here, right? There's only two. Either nature created us or intelligent agency. That's your only two choices. There isn't a third option.
That's controller mentality right there. To have only two choices. It's only black or white. It's red or blue. Flat or globe. That's it. You're only given those two choices. I don't contend with that. I'm sure others don't, but I'm pretty sure many will probably agree. I think that is John talking. And another thing, if you are watching on YouTube, and I think it might just be Restream, might be Periscope, maybe it's just on me. I don't know what it is, but like I didn't get I check. Like, am I getting an email? I don't think so. For some reason, I don't know what it is. And I think it's because I'm always against the controllers. The people who want to limit your path. And let's see, just to show you guys. And I may have to mute something. So if there's any noise, I will mute it. There's just one watching. It's just me. There's no one else. Okay, so that's... Usually there are people. And you can even see on Restream if there are other people coming through Periscope. It's not. It definitely his stream health is green, positive. Okay, so maybe no one just wants to watch. That's fine. But I did a live stream earlier today. If I go to videos, and again, I don't know who said it, but man, YouTube Studio Beta sucks. So I went live, and it wasn't even a big one. It's just about belief, and on topic, the difference between belief and an expectation. It changed. Like at a certain point, there were 3 likes and only one view. One view with 3 likes. How does that happen? And then of course 0 comments. But then when we go into it, let's go into the. See, it's like, why can't I just go directly to the video of mine? Remember it showed. Oh wait, no comments. What is going on? And then we'll go to the actual comments. Oops. Let's go back. We have to go back. Lost reference there. Wow, this is... And YouTube Studio is slow to load. Okay, so let's go to comments. Oh, what the heck? The comments are gone. All right. Well, that's another oddity. Anyways, most likely people don't even get the email that I'm on. That's fine. We'll get back to this. I like Henry David Thoreau and wanted to read more quotes, but if I want to keep this under an hour, maybe I shouldn't even go there. All right. So he only wants two choices. People want two choices, and you're gonna see that a lot. They're gonna give you choices and say, "Hey, it's freedom." Like, no, it's just like the quote of the day with Henry David Thoreau, which I loved. Where is it? Oh yeah, if a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music he hears, however measured or far away. It's a great quote. And I was debating. There's so many. I had to choose that one, even though something short like this, all good things are wild and free. There's just so many that you could take from Henry David Thoreau. Again, you're going to come across a lot of controllers saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. They're going to limit whatever you do. They're going to take away your freedom, saying, no, you can't do this. And people will probably go, okay, I can't do it. Thanks for telling me. There can be others. I guess I'm one of them. Like, I can do it. You have no authority to stop me. If you want to stop me, then stop me. It's like, I think there's a question right before I played this part. Someone put a gun to your head saying you had to choose. Do you believe that everything was created from nothing, Big Bang, or created from a creator? And I would say, pull the trigger and I'll find out. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. But here's my thing, and I say it all the time, is if you choose not to go looking, you're never going to find the answers. If you've already chosen an answer with no proof or evidence that it is the truth, you're also going to stop looking. You're not going to keep looking because you have determined that it is the truth. It is your truth. It's not necessarily the truth. It could be true to you. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Someone could feel it, think it, whatever it is. That's why we're in this situation. People believe Earth is a globe. And that's it. They either don't care, it is, or it isn't, and that's not the point. And I think one of the things that I wanted to show with the Henry David Thoreau quote, another one is this was actually going to be my first one, but I think I might limit it or use it again in a follow-up to this video, is this one. The question is not whether I butchered it. The question is not what you look at, but what you see. So what I look at, whether I'm looking into rabbit hole, whether I'm looking into the globe Earth model, whether I'm looking into the official narrative, what do I see? It's not, I'm just looking at the narrative, is what am I actually seeing here? And what I see typically are lies and control mechanisms out there, Hegelian dialectic, and a whole bunch of things. Same thing when I see people who I call agents, people who have no name, no face, and they'll state something, and I look at it, and this is what I see. I see someone trying to direct me to a method of control. for me to be controlled in one way or another by the choices that they set forth. It is or it isn't. That's the only two choices that they present. That's the only two choices that you're given to have. And I say no. It is not. Let's see. Let's look at the history. There's another thing that I saw earlier. I do kind of look at a lot of things. Now,
.c, which is also.
Let me go back. So, Crow 777. Look, I subscribe to a lot of things. I get the notification bell. Even for people who are agents. Crow 777, no name, no face. I'll just take his information. That's it. I'm not going to trust them. I'm going to take the information and add it to my collection of information and figure things out on my own. Do my own research. Now, he has videos and let me of basically a sun. He's looking through a solar telescope, and then he sees another sun. That's the invisible sun, he's saying. Possibly the black sun. Now, if you look into a lot of mythologies and theosophy, occult things, there's the black sun and all of that stuff. And yeah, okay, it makes sense. People believe in something. At least the majority of the controllers seem to have that belief system. And here is Chris Van Mater. I don't know who he is. I've never watched any of his videos, but he found the same thing. I'll have to watch his videos. I have an idea, even though he doesn't have a lot of subscriptions, but it's quite a lot of subscriptions for the amount of videos. Again, I have over 700, probably over 1,000 videos. Probably not good, whatever. But I'm like at 1,180. But of course, maybe that's him. Let's see. Let's pick a random video where he might actually be not filming something. Okay, what is level? No face, no name. Well, a name, but no face. Can't match it. Just the one picture. Chris Van Mater. Okay. So, hopefully you understand my point. Now, certain people, even the people you do see, I don't call them agents. At most, I can call them sellouts. But that's only if the behavior dictates that that's what they are doing. Sometimes it's difficult to tell. Now, let's keep going on this thing. Let me think real quick, see if I might have gotten to the point. Oh, okay. So the point is, he's probably not going to answer this. I'm expecting that for the person to say, "Hey, that's look, okay, Apollyon 1975." He goes, "The distance between suns means you can't get both in frame." It's like saying, "I don't believe the Eiffel Tower until it exists until it's the same frame as the Statue of Liberty. The distance means you cannot get both in the same frame, yet both exist." I'll bet you this person is an agent. No name, no face, no videos, maybe one video. Let's see if he's got a... that's it. No face. One video. Yeah, so why would I take that person's information as anything to prove that there is an invisible sun? Both frames would give it more credence in my opinion, but that's it. I'd say, okay, there's two bright looking objects, same frame. That's definitely an oddity. That's something I'd like to look into. Maybe other people will get solar telescopes to set up something where you could get more information out of it. and find and I'll probably go digging through the black sun a little bit more. Not like I haven't already done that. All right, let's keep going. I like this.
Wait a minute, I
that's
think there
James's
is a
point.
third option.
What was your point, James? What? Sorry, just let James carry on because he might have more to his point.
That's where he gets kicked up. Leaves.
Or
comes
was
back.
there a conclusion you wanted to draw from that information, or what?
I think he just wanted to know if he should be a listener. He wanted to see if you're part of his
I
gang.
think he just wanted to have the experience.
That's too
It's just
funny.
non-stop back and he's dropped. I think he'll hopefully come back. He might just have an internet connection problem. Hopefully, if he does come back, just let him get straight back into his point so it doesn't get completely lost.
Slick said there was a third option, by the way. We need to address that.
Yeah, it's not that it's not really coming from me. It's just that I heard someone say it, and it was just kind of interesting. That's all.
Oh, got
So flat Earth. That everything was here already. It does make some sense. For example, again, the God debate or the creator debate. There's many ways to look into it, but I always I'd like to talk with John. I have a feeling he'd try to overtalk me a lot, but it is what it is. We'll see. Maybe I can get him in to talk one day. Apparently, from what I'm listening, is that it's gonna get into it, and I just want to get this in your heads. First thing I ask when someone believes in a creator, the most high, and I'm starting to try to get it down. Is this creator? Does this creator have a limit in what it can create, or what it is able to create? Is it all powerful? I just want to know the limits. For example, if it can create a being like itself, but more powerful, the same powers, more powers, with the ability to destroy even himself, is the creator that powerful? Well, yes or no. It's like typically like Paul would provide. No, it has to follow the own rules that it exists for himself type of thing. And that makes sense. Sure. Okay. But if it doesn't, anything is possible, right? So let's see what the responses are.
Flat on Earth on the panel. Panel, can you get?
It's always
panel.
been there.
Sorry, it's Flat on Earth's claim. So go ahead, Flat on Earth.
Yeah, that's good. Everything has always been here.
That's a second law of thermodynamics violation.
A creator is a laws of thermodynamics violation.
No,
because
not
you
a
can't
creator.
create
You said that
matter,
it
yeah,
always
or
been here.
Let's get the rules set.
So, John is saying that if everything's already existing, then it's a second law of dynamics violation. I don't quite get that. But then if it's created from nothing, then isn't that the first law violation? That matter or energy for that matter. Hey, isn't that funny? Energy for that matter can neither be created nor destroyed. So, if there is a God, and it harkens back to my point, creator, the source, whatever you want to call it. If it created everything out of nothing, and all that existed first was it's the essence, the source essence, then it violates the first law of thermodynamics. Is it yeah. Basically, matter cannot be created nor destroyed, so it was able to create matter and energy. So then again, we're forced with this conundrum. It's like, okay, so there's supposed to be restrictions, but there's no restrictions. See where I'm going at? And sometimes I can't think of it. It's like when someone tells like a put down, and then you go home, and like a couple hours later you realize, oh, I should have said this. You know, a good comeback. So sometimes it takes a while for me to kind of formulate a couple of thoughts on just conversations I may have had 1 or 2 days ago, or even longer than that.
Straight away, just one at a time. Give at least 20 seconds to each other, even if there's a gap in between. Come on.
Right. He said that it's always been here. That was his claim. Well, that's a laws of thermodynamics violation.
So what he doesn't get is that it's either a first law or a second law. It's going to be either or. So which law are you going to pick that's going to be a violation? The whole idea is him saying that there's just two choices. And again, a controlling mentality. Wants to control your path, wants to control your choice, wants to control you in not going on your own path, to the drum of your own beat. And all it takes is one other possibility, and there it goes that. You're just proven wrong. All it takes is the possibility, an alternate possibility. Oh, I got a guest. Flat Earth. Hey, how's it going, Flat Earth?
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Why are you laughing?
Because of what you're playing. It's awesome.
Oh, okay. No, I was listening to that. I want to be a part of that conversation, but it's hard to be in that type of conversation with a lot of people as well.
Hell yeah, it is. But it's so fun. I love it.
I mean, to me, I don't like being bogged down by choices. I mean, I feel like we're in this position because of the choices provided to us. We had to choose the choices that they present. But that he keeps bringing up that it violates the second law of thermodynamics. But I think your point is, well, if it's not there already, then it's going to violate the first law of thermodynamics, that energy was created or matter was created.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that I don't want to do that because I don't stand under the laws of thermodynamics because I don't think they apply outside of a local level. But this is the game that they play, so this is the game I'm going to play. You know, I would never make a claim like that. I didn't, before this flat earth debate, I didn't know anything about the laws of thermodynamics. But then when John started coming in saying that a creator has been proven scientifically, then I started looking into it. And little by little, as I hear them talk, as I hear them cornering me into arguments that I can't refute or that I don't understand, I've just grown little by little, and it's awesome. I love talking to them because I always take something from it, and then the next time I got it chambered and ready to go. And just like you said, you think of something to say 2 weeks later. You know, I do that, but it doesn't matter because once it's a discussion in regards to religion, everybody's pretty foundational. Everybody has their perspective, right? And it's not really going to sway. And so as soon as John and I, for example, get into it, it's like it never ended. It's great. And I can always navigate him toward what I want to tell him and toward what I want to block him into. Unfortunately, today, I was putting on my headset, so I didn't hear like some of the things they were saying. So I was kind of confused about what they were talking about, but that happens too. I have a specific headset that I use for Quantum Eraser, so I'm heard. Because he tries to trample over everyone. So I got this freaking SteelSeries Arctic Pro headset, and as soon as he comes on, I pop it on. So I sound better, clearer.
Okay. Yeah, I do hear you pretty good right now. So what would you... Do I want to be in for a surprise when that next conversation comes up? Or are you going to present it now?
Well, as far as what? What do you mean?
That, like you're mentioning that 2 weeks later, or you've got something that came up 2 weeks from a conversation 2 weeks ago, like, so.
Yeah. Well, the problem with this one is that I haven't heard this show yet because he's not going to play it until next time. And in the moment, I'm so caught up in the moment that I'm not even sure exactly what I talked about and what my responses were. Everything
Okay.
is like organic with me. I'm very alone, obviously, in this discussion. It's like me versus everybody else.
Well,
So
I would have sided with you in that there's all it takes is a third choice to disprove your logical consistency or logical conclusion that's either one or the other. And
yeah, but but the point with him with two ontological primitives is not that there are two ontological primitives, is that he wants to play a parlor trick on you. So if you choose nature or intelligent design, naturally someone who is an atheist and doesn't believe in a god is going to choose nature, but he's going to back you into the corner of a Big Bang, a singularity, right? And so that's kind of what his game is. But the problem is, I don't believe in a singularity. I think everything has always been here, which throws him off balance. And then so he just starts calling me a clown because there's really no response to it. It just makes sense. You can't create energy nor destroy energy. So how are you going to tell me that everything hasn't always been here?
yeah, I mean,
know,
I don't see why people always seem to put people in these buckets. It's like when the globe earthers say, yeah, all flat earthers are just crazy religious fanatics. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, you and me are not religious.
Yeah. Well, and I heard you say the other day that you are agnostic and I'm an atheist. And I would actually call myself an agnostic because I'm open to the part where I'm wrong. Because I was wrong about a globe Earth for 39 years. So why couldn't I be wrong about a creator? It's just that the arguments that are being presented to me currently they're not making sense. They're not sound. They sound like the same programming and the same like allegiance-based bias that you have to either be for or against.
Yeah.
And so I'm not gonna have that. I'm not having it.
Yeah, it's like imagine there's two sheep herders. They're taking the sheep to either one pen or the other, and you've got all these stragglers. We're the stragglers, and it's the sheep herders that's going, "Hey, you either go to that pen or this pen." He's like, "I was doing fine
Yep.
straggling on my own. What are you guys? What is this for? What's going on here?"
Yeah, it's unreal. And as a flat earther, I mean, I've been through freaking mental hell, I mean, with my wife and my family, and this complete disorder that with relationships from it, so I'm not going to talk to some guy on the internet and have him like fear porn me into believing in something that I don't care about.
Yeah. Because I thought when you said you're atheist, you already did all your research and you're done. You made up your mind. There is none. But now I get your point because I'm on the same boat. You might not have heard me earlier, and I always mention this as an agnostic or just someone who doesn't believe. So I'm on the same boat as Slick. As I don't believe. I choose not to, or I can't even if I wanted to. Because once you resort to belief without a modicum of evidence, it's just a flat out assertion without anything to back it up, or you have to take someone else's word, someone else as a witness, whatever, or some book, and to do that, then I'm going to stop looking for the answer, for any other answer that comes about that might just dictate that, hey, it's not correct. Just like if we just said, hey, okay, we believe the Earth is globe, we'd never get to the point where we realized, hey, Earth is not a globe. It definitely doesn't fit that model that they present, the official narrative. And then there's the opposite of people where people will talk with them saying, hey, you don't even have to look into the flat Earth. Just look into the globe Earth. And they go, no, I don't care if it is or if it isn't. It's just I don't care to look. And then I call that the same thing as like the atheist is they already believe nothing exists. They won't even look into either or. And so they're never gonna find out because they're just not choosing to look ever. And I'm in the constant part of always searching and always looking, because if we just stop, no matter which choice, I guess, the choice of choosing one thing you believe in, and therefore you can stop looking because you've already found it, or the choice that there's no point in looking because you're never going to find the truth, so therefore don't even go looking for the truth. But then at that point, you're never going to find the truth either. So either of these two choices that are presented, and it seems to be a choice that the controllers always want you to fit into, you're going to never look into the truth. Sorry, I took up a lot of airspace there.
Yes, and when I first came into the flat Earth debate and I started actually talking, it was the first time I really talked about these things that I've always thought about, like eternal life and things like that. And I thought it was just normal, because in my perception of life, there's nothing new. Nobody is having original thought. When somebody writes a new song, it's not an original song, it's just their perception of their influences. But whenever I speak in the flat earth debate, it's literally like I'm talking to aliens. Like, no one knows. I'm just trying to explain sand, and people are like, I don't know what you're talking about, you're an idiot. So but I still hold to hope that one day I will find something that matches up my idea of what's happening, because it can't be that unique. How can it be?
Yeah.
And in the end, when I think like everything is going through a cyclical process, through a geobiochemical process, and so it makes sense that life, like I was talking about with magnets, the way that magnets stick together and are attracted to each other, DNA is the same way. It's just sugars and chemicals that are mixing, just finding themselves. I just think everything is going through these cycles, and it's always has been. And if there is something I could find where they say, yes, there is a creator and the creator is Earth, then I'd be like, yeah, all right, that makes sense. And there kind of are variations of it, but there's always something weird, so always something wrong.
Have you ever looked into the Gnostic texts and things like that?
No.
Oh, you might like that. If all else, the stories, you might like the entire thing. Like, because there's just different variations. It's basically Gnosticism is just looking into as much information as possible to dictate where we're coming from, or where the source, the creator that created everything is. For example, one of the main stories is Sophia, Mother Earth, etc. Gaia is and part of there's different accounts, different tellings, but one of the tellings is that she existed, and she wanted to find out, hey, how did I come to being? Who's the creator of me? And so she went into the process of figuring things out, and ended up creating an essence called Yada Boeth, and that was the demiurge. What the agnostics account for what the Abrahamic God is, whether it's Christians, Muslims, and or Jews, and that it's just one of those ignorant power beings, because it came into being, and it was placed. It was formed on Earth. She cast it away, and she in that way she created the Earth, and so he was placed on it, and he goes, "Huh, I must be God because there's no one else but me. I'm the first, so let me just create more things." And so of course he's getting everything he creates is saying, "Hey, I'm the most powerful because I was here first." And then and then of course the mother comes like, "Hey, you're born from me, so you're definitely not first." And then someone else appears, and this is like a in certain tales, it's like the vision of a man, but only Yada Both could see, and also Sophia. But all the archons that the demiurge created, they couldn't see what Yada Both was seeing. So they're just wondering, what is it that he's saying? And so So this figure, the God figure, the Most High, the Creator, the Source, is going. I'm sorry to let, because basically Yadaboth was saying, "Hey, if there is any God more powerful than me, then just appear to me." So it appeared to him, and he's like, "Who are you?" And so it's a funny story in some way. And anyways,
It sounds like it could be a silent Bob and Jay movie or something.
yeah, it could. It's definitely worth checking out. I mean, I always seem to revisit Gnosticism a lot, because I start going back into mythological sources, Egyptian, Maya, and a lot of these accounts are very similar to a lot of the Gnostic stuff, like the Nag Hammadi and things like that. And then I go back to the Abrahamic scriptures, and then maybe Book of Enoch, and then I'll go more back into more of the occult theosophy stuff, and then that leads me back into the older mythological tales. So it's just a big roundabout. But then I just have to, okay, what am I? Not just what I'm saying is, what am I looking at? And so I'm looking at, okay, where are we? We've got major religions seem to be, the Christians, the and the Muslim religions are the two biggest, all stemming from the Jewish religion, and that's mostly for the masses. And then there's the more esoteric Christians, the Theosophists, the ones who seem to be controlling this world. People call them Satanists and all of this. But the thing is, they believe in something totally different. They don't believe in what the masses believe, and it makes me think, it's like, why would they believe in something different? I mean, like I would say even the controllers of the religions, whether it's the Pope or a lot of these church leaders, how they just have millions and billions of dollars and private jets and huge mansions, and people still give them their money and want them to tell them what God how to get to God, even though they say you can't buy your way into heaven, and yet they don't realize that the person talking to them is so wealthy. It's like, why do I need to keep giving money to this denomination?
Yeah. And then when you see the Pope, he just seems so fragile and in need, and people just they take advantage of that, of people.
Yeah. And so that's what I look at, and that's what I see is like, okay, we've figured out the whole controller thing with government and government agencies and government appointed positions, and that positions where people get to vote them into those positions. And okay, we're those are lies. The official stories always seem to have holes. Mainstream media, they're doing the same thing. It's all based out of the bankers who control the money, who can create money all on their own. But it's legal for them. But whenever anyone else does it, it's counterfeit and it's illegal. And now we're down to a flat Earth, and it's like, okay, if it is a flat Earth, it most likely does point to like a intelligent design, not things just kind of spontaneously forming and coalescing into what the evolutionary model is. But then does that mean, okay, most likely that points to some God out there, but how do we know which one? And then it's a lot of the people who are within flat Earth saying it's the Christian God, that's it, and a story. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't believe that. I wouldn't know either way, and I don't think you would. 'Cause earlier in the video, I go, okay, belief, your expectation. Okay, someone claims to be Jesus Christ. I know. I would say my expectation of you believing that person claiming to be Jesus Christ is Jesus Christ come back again. I'm 99.9% sure that you're not going to believe it. And how do I know? Because it's difficult to know. You're going to ask that person to, hey, prove that you're Jesus Christ. How do we know? There's always going to be that doubt, but they never doubt it within themselves, it appears. But when the time comes, they're going to doubt. It's like, it has to be like really known. And then all the doubters, like if some being came to to Earth, claiming came to whatever, was showed up itself in the sky or in the news and say, "I am Jesus Christ, come back again, and look at all the things I'm doing." And then I go, "Oh, that's just computer CGI." And then it comes over to like my town and does it, and I see it live. I'm like, "Okay, that's pretty crazy." And then I go, "Okay, how do I know you're actually Jesus Christ and not some other like superhero power being, whatever?" And how's it going to do that? How is it going to prove to me?
Well, according to Paul Hall, we were actually having a discussion. It's too bad that you kind of left early because the discussion continued only pretty much on religion. And he said that when Jesus comes back, I forgot what the exact saying was, but he's going to peel the sky from the earth or something. He's going to pull the lid off the sky or something like that. Like it's going to something like it's going to be a total paradigm shift where you're going to know. It's not going to be like anything that we know. So it was interesting. It was interesting how he was going on about that. So there you go.
But I mean,
but
so,
yeah, no.
Sona's probably like you've probably watched Star Trek Next Generation. Have you?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Oh
No.
man, that's something worth watching. Anyway.
Yeah, my wife loves that show.
Within it, there's this character named Q. It's this very super powerful being. I mean, basically godlike powers. So I was like, that being just reads up some stuff on humans and goes, "Oh, this is what Jesus would do when he comes back. I can do that." It's like, I mean, who's to assume that that's not occurring as well?
Right, especially now in a time when Japan can put fake stars in the sky. We have no idea what they are capable of. And the ISS that traverses through the moon, we don't know what that is. And so maybe they do have the capability of literally making it seem like they could peel the sky from, the ceiling.
Yeah.
To deceive us. We have no idea. But no, I don't believe in design. I believe in evolution, but I believe everything has always been here.
Now, evolution is an interesting concept, and
yeah.
So, how far back would you go as far as believing in evolution? Like,
well, I'm made from the earth beneath my feet.
Okay. So you mean humans in general, or you?
Everything and everybody, everything. Water. I mean, we're 70% water.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not far fetched to think of this stuff.
So it's not the standard evolutionary model where it came from single cell organisms and became
yeah. Why not?
Oh, okay. So that is a possibility. Okay.
Yeah, like what do they call it? What do they call that? Primordial ooze.
Primordial soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooze.
Soup. Yes. Yeah.
Too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But what about when I guess creationist flat earthers say, "Hey, there's the same holes in the official story. We don't have enough evidence to support the models that we find within fossil records, and also the dating of the fossil records that does appear true, that it's not very accurate." Like, what about those types of assessments?
Okay, I don't believe in dinosaurs as prescribed. Yeah, I think the fossil record only goes back to 50,000 years, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the deception of man that's actually doing the investigation. We'd have to trust them. So no, I definitely wouldn't trust any of that nonsense. But I mean, I think there's just truth in a lot of things. It's just like moved, toward what the agenda is, what the current agenda is. So I think that's the problem. We don't realize what's actually going on because there are some things that make sense and then some things that don't. I mean, but I don't know. I was even talking to my kid last weekend, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, do you think we come from monkeys?"
You mean
apes?
Great apes?
Yeah. How did I exactly say it? I said, "Hey, buddy, are we like monkeys? And he said, no. I said, all right, good. And then I said, are dogs like cats? And he said, no. And I said, okay, so, but cats are like tigers. And he said, yes. So, and this is from a 7-year-old. And to me, I think all these things seem the same. Like we have eyes like a monkey, we have tongues, we have hands, we have feet. But I'm asking my son, who is pure, right? He's giving me answers of the consensus, as in saying, yeah, no, I don't think a dog is like a cat. Which to me, it's, they walk on 4 legs, they have eyes, they have tongues, they don't sweat except from their mouths, right? I mean, it's just like, to me, it's obvious. But when I ask my own child and he doesn't agree with me, it's just interesting. It's like, okay, so there something to that then, that we are not the same, because I didn't tell him, no, yes, we come from monkeys. Yeah, I didn't say that. I wouldn't do that to him, So yeah, just interesting. It's fun. It's fun to, see what people's perspective is. But to me, it just makes sense that we come from everything else.
I have a hard time seeing it that way, but a lot of us have different imaginary capabilities, and maybe I just don't have that imagination available. But I like to keep that thought open, because maybe one day it just maybe it appears like, oh no, I can imagine how Flat Earth can imagine that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like machines, right? People try to liken us to machines, and that machines are programmed, and made by code, thus made by an intelligent designer. But I don't think we are the same. As in, well, I mean, as in making a machine and designing a machine is, you're basically just making trash, right? Because you're making 1.0 and then there's going to be 2.0. And in doing that, you're increasing entropy because you're just creating unusable energy. And so all this stuff we're making is not advancements in technology, but we're just destroying ourselves to the point where we are going to destroy ourselves, but energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So eventually Earth will bring everything back through the cycles, the biogeochemical cycles, and start over again, right? And so I think we as people are different. If we didn't make things, if we didn't keep trying to make technology, we would be fine, because Earth, I think, it can cater to life, but not to man-made things, right? They create entropy. But so we're made of DNA, right? And so that's what people are saying is the code. That's the code, the DNA. But DNA, when you look at it, it's just made from dextrose and different chemicals that are attracted to it, right? Like carbon. And so it's just something that happens in nature naturally because it's attracted to it. Just like magnets are attracted to themselves. So I think some things are attracted to, life is attracted to life, and then death is attracted to death. And then it just like, it's a balance. The death creates other life, and then the life creates death, and everything just keeps swaying back and forth.
But then how do you explain certain things within a system? Like, say we're a contained system. I mean, our skin, all our organs are contained within each other, and we've got water, like you say, our body's composed 70% of water, but then we've got a lot of fat too, and we know that fat and water aren't soluble. So how do they stick together and not stick together within the same system, but stay together within the same system?
Well, because everything is a balance. Everything is in a different stage of a cycle, right? You're young, and then there's an older person that dies, and then they can no longer do that, and then they become earth, and then mulch, and then flowers come up from them, right? It's just, everything is in a balance.
Yeah, I agree with that, the entire balance thing. But it's still hard to come up with. Here's the thing that's weird when I think about certain things, look at things a certain way. For example, so I've been looking into more into nature and observing nature, and what we can divine from nature, just things we could use day to day. And for example, one of these people, I forget his name, but he looks at nettles. So nettles are usually you can usually tell that if you're lost in the woods or somewhere in the world, and you come across nettles and you're stung by them and go, what why are there, if you know, I hate nettles, and then you realize, this person realizes, hey, if you encounter nettles, that means you're close to civilization, because the soil that nettles grow in are very phosphorus, and basically humans, when they use up the soil for all their crops and gardens, the soil becomes pretty phosphorus, and therefore that soil is just that's where nettles will grow. They won't grow in non-phosphorus soil. So that's just like an indicator. And it's like, well, how do the, like, what's like, how do the nettles get there? Do they, I mean, do the ones that don't form in phosphorus soil die, or do they just, like, their seeds become encased and hardened? Because there are certain seeds out there where they can lay dormant for, it appears like decades, and then the right setting comes in, and then they're able to grow. It's pretty amazing. I mean, because nature is amazing if you really look. And I sometimes wonder, that's why humans are different, and maybe that's why we're here. We're here because we can appreciate and notice the beauty of nature, as opposed to any other animal in the animal kingdom.
Yeah, and I think we're a side effect of Earth, and kind of like a virus, and we're destroying ourselves, and eventually Earth will be in balance again when we're gone. But as far as the nettles, they just attract to the phosphors just like magnets do.
Mhm.
You know, just like everything just attracts to everything else. It's just going to happen. Life wants to thrive no matter where it is.
Yep.
And I think that's just a part of the balance, you know.
But it's hard not to look at it as a piece of code, because for example, it needs some catalyst to make it happen. I mean, for example,
But it doesn't, because like DNA is just sugar and a bunch of chemicals, and carbon
But-
yeah.
so one parable of Jesus Christ that I like is, someone goes to Jesus and he has a couple of seeds. It's like, hey, what seeds are these? What will these seeds grow into? And all Jesus says is, plant them and find out, right? And so, like, we can't tell for certain seeds what they're going to grow into, but we know that if we can identify the seeds, they're always going to grow into that particular plant. So, I mean, there's just so little information. It's just a small object. How is that such a blueprint that it's always going to be what it's going to grow into when the needs are right? Why don't we ever see like a sunflower seed ever growing into like a palm tree?
Because it's the DNA structure within it,
Okay.
wherever.
So are you saying DNA is code?
No,
No?
I'm saying it's just sugars and chemicals. And so depending on where on the earth you are, there is more or less of the recipe to make whatever DNA is in that area. So that's how you're going to end up with sunflowers, because everything wants to live. Some things are not. Some things are going to kill other things, and that's just evolution.
Okay. Maybe I'll get there.
Well, because I mean, like, when you think of code, we're thinking like we currently think. Everything is, we're no different than machines. I think that is the narrative.
Well, like, not machines, just mechanism, blueprints, like an idea. It's but that idea that doesn't change. It's like set in stone. I mean, if chickens lay eggs, yeah, it's gonna be a chicken that hatches out of it. If a human has a baby, it's gonna be a human that comes out of it. It's consistent. Everything in nature has its consistency, and so and the easiest definition to apply to that is some code. We call it genetic code, but it's some mixture, some blueprint. But you're saying it's different. It's just a chemical makeup of attractive chemicals, or like a mix of things, just not just chemicals, but like magnetism and could be energy, things we may not even know. But yeah, I mean, that may like is that just from your thoughts, or is it from any reading material that you've came across that?
No, it's just from what I've heard people talk about. And of course I've looked into things like DNA because of the flat Earth debates and things that are discussed in corners that people try to put me in. I just have to research, and then it just every time I look at something, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Because DNA, when they were saying DNA is a code, it is a code, and so it's obviously a programming thing. So it must have had a programmer. I started thinking, oh wow, it actually is a code. Yeah, that's what I've known all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I looked into it, it's not a code. It's kind of like a recipe that's just made of things that you find in nature, and they're attracted to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to call that a code, you can call that a code, but it's not. It's
a recipe. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to think that it's like just because they added a number 1, 2, 3 to a sugar, and then the one chemical they added 5, 6, 7. All of a sudden you think, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a code. But it's like, no, it's sugar and a chemical. It's sugar and carbon. If you want to call that a code, that's your problem. But it's just nature doing things that with two things that are attracted to each other naturally.
Yeah. I'm starting to get it. It's interesting. I like it. Again,
it's weird because it's like I don't know how that's like. It's like so simple to me. I don't get it.
Well,
I don't get it.
Be tough to others. I mean, again,
I know. I don't know why.
It can be harder.
I'm just not explaining it right. I'm just not explaining it right.
I think that could be. I mean, recipe is a good thing, but again, we also have this problem: is the longer that someone's been indoctrinated into the current system and the model, the official model, I think it's harder to explain different things because we're so used to thinking the way they want us to think. And so when you're talking to John or 10th Man Rising, who's 60, I don't know how old John is. I'm 40, so I don't have that hard of a problem.
I'm 43.
Oh, okay, you're 43. Yeah, so for me, it's just easier. It's like,
and I'm a musician, so I've always been a dreamer.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. I've always liked stories, making up my own stories. Like for example, I don't read books to my daughter. I tell her stories that I make up every night.
That's awesome.
Is a continuation.
I love that.
Yeah, so different stories and continuation of characters. Either I introduce new ones or some leave, etc. But she loves it, and she goes,
"Do you write it down?"
No, I just tell her the story, and it's just I don't plan for it. I like when she wants me to tell a story, I just tell it. I want to use my creative energies to come up with whatever it is that I can come up with.
That is epic. And so that's like the same thing where I'm thinking it's so simple to think of a strand of sugar and a chemical as not code, but I could never do that. I would never be able to come up with a story just like out of nowhere. So that to me is like, I don't know how you do that without any sort of...
I'm not good at music. If you ask me to come up with some music, I'll be like making some weird noises and, I was like, okay, I do know like the elementary stuff. Like, okay, let's make it a 6-beat or an 8-beat. But
wait, what the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. It's just what I pick up and like.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's awesome. I love that.
But we all have our things. We all have our things
that
we enjoy that we can come up with, our imaginative juices, like let's say, and that's the greatest thing about. I guess maybe being human. We could be in someone mentions this to me because I'm in this, I always feel like I'm in this conundrum and that we just need to find a way to free ourselves. But someone else was saying, and I wish I could remember who, that we're not meant to be free physically. We're going to be enslaved in our material, the system that's set out for us here. But you know what? they can't imprison our minds. Our minds can always be free. So I always wonder if maybe that is the case too.
Sometimes it seems that way, but sometimes not, especially when I see that people are just keeping the same programming like the Bible, and things like that. It just makes me realize that, like I said earlier, nobody's having any original thought. It's just their interpretation of what their experience is.
Yeah. And so one of my imaginations when I'm reading into certain mythologies or scriptures or whatever it is, whether it's the Eastern mythologies and religions, which are very interesting, and also some of the Middle Eastern, Western, and if you ever try ayahuasca, I don't want you to look into ayahuasca. This is a test. This is an experiment. If you ever take ayahuasca, don't listen from other people. Try not to. And I want you to tell me what you experience, because I think everyone who takes ayahuasca, it's a drug, but it's a specific it's just has detail with DMT and stuff like that. But everyone who takes it has the same experience, especially the first time. The same consciousness experience. And that to me is pretty telling. And for me, I think that's just certain plants out there with animals is just one way of communicating to the essence of nature, Mother Nature, etc. But who knows? Anyways, if you ever get the chance, go and do it. It's not going to kill you.
I don't do drugs. I don't do any drugs.
I don't do it either. But this one I had to, because I wanted to find out more.
It's funny.
And it's amazing.
No, I'm not going to do that.
If you ever do, just don't look into it
All right.
before you do. Like, don't look into details of what other people say they experience. But you can look into all the other details of like how to be prepared for it and what to expect. But anyways, one of the imaginative things that stories that I came with, but it's also kind of a shot off of different religions or mythologies out there, stories that have already been out there, is that we're sent here. We all are here on a voluntary basis, our consciousness, whoever we come to be, and that we're here to help Mother Nature. But we know how we need to help and what we need to do and what we sign up for, except when we get here, because our consciousness is in a different medium, and the medium here is encapsulates the consciousness that we're like, for example, consciousness doesn't have a limit. There is no container. The container is whatever the container is out there that, I mean, you can go through. It's almost like energy. You can just go through anything, right? It's the same as consciousness if you think about it that way. But then when we're here, it's like our consciousness is here. It's in our noggin, our body, our heart, whatever it is. And the thing is, it's like, well, we can't access all the things we used to have, and it's like we can't remember what we're here for. It's like signing up for like the military and going, all right, let's do it. What's our objective, sir?
Yeah. Well, I don't believe in consciousness, but I do believe that our history has been lost. I mean, with the ones in control, they have their agenda, and they just put in their agenda into us, and we've just forgotten everything. Those that forget history are doomed to repeat it, right? And we are in this constant repetition of it.
Yeah. And the reason I mention ayahuasca is that I've only taken 2 drugs in my life. One is pot, which was a weird experience, and I didn't like it. But that was actually for the, like, for example, we hear stories that it's supposed to kind of help you with your creative processes and stuff like that. To me, it didn't seem to do that. It just gave me a headache. and
Yeah.
So it was for like recreation, right? Now, then I came up with there. So I don't really care about taking drugs. I don't see a recreational fun in it. Like, if I want fun, I'll go play basketball or video games. Now,
Yeah.
ayahuasca, on the other hand, when reading up into it, is just method of experiencing a different or a higher, they say higher consciousness. And I was going, all right, let's try it. Let's see if it's true. And I looked at all the warning things, like, is it safe? Whatever. It is illegal in the United States. Just know that, except for 2 places. So I experienced it not just once but twice, and I thought I didn't have a belief system, and I don't call it a belief because I've experienced it. And so therefore, like, before I experienced it, I didn't think about higher consciousness at all. Like, I was in the same boat, agnosticism, but I went looking. I wanted to see it. Is this true? Because if I don't try it, I would never know, right? So I tried it, and and then afterwards I listened to all the other people telling stories of their ayahuasca experiences. Like, how do we all have the same experience? This is crazy. How does it's not everyone has the same experience with almost any other drug, like pot. Okay, it's people have different experiences, but it's not a very consciousness, like, metaphysical experience. Ayahuasca, on the other hand, it was yeah, like, if that's one thing that's called a belief, okay, maybe that is one thing I believe in. But the thing is, I experienced it. So, and here's the other thing: is others who have taken and experienced the same thing. How does that happen? It's like, it's just like when I research into mythology, and they all have, from different ages, different civilizations, from different eras and locations, that supposedly they weren't in contact with each other. How do they have the same story?
I think it's just we're all the same. Like, our brains are all the same. It's like, how do people that have a lobotomy all have lobotomies look like people that have had lobotomies? Everybody's the same.
Do they say, like, have the same dreams? Like, everyone who has a lobotomy, do they have the same dreams? I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Ayahuasca is, imagine people who take certain magic tea, and that magic tea, everyone who dreams that night has that same dream. Isn't that an odd magic tea? So that's what I account for ayahuasca.
Okay, I'm not gonna take ayahuasca, so can you, like, just skip the spoiler alert and tell me what I'm gonna? Because I'm not gonna do that. So,
I'm probably not gonna.
Because I feel bad talking about it. Because it's like, how am I supposed to say anything?
So they call it the mother vine. They call it mother ayahuasca, and that basically when you take it, you meet a feminine essence, and they call that essence mother ayahuasca, and she'll protect you that first time, and she's very protective. She guides you very simply, and everything is very simplified to the basics. Like, it doesn't matter what religion you are, she's the essence of wisdom. She's always teaches you for every ayahuasca trip that you take. It's a very you take something away from it, and you learn from it. And I think if you don't learn from it, the next time you take it, she's gonna, like, it's not gonna be good. It's an experience that's ingrained in you, and you change your behaviors. It's very weird, but again, every time you take it, you're gonna puke, you're gonna diarrhea, you're gonna vomit, and you're gonna be pretty humble. Like, imagine you're like the Pope, and you're just like, I'm not, it's beneath me to puke and diarrhea. But yeah, even the Pope, if he's gonna take it, or a president, whoever it is, some king, they're gonna experience the same thing. They're gonna be so humbled to get to have that experience. And then
every time,
yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then
and do you care? Do you care when it happens, or what's your mindset?
Mindset is you just don't want to make a mess, so you go and you do your thing. But the weird part is like, I remember, and you can look up 2 of my videos where I go through both of the experiences with my ayahuasca. One is like I'm puking on in the kitchen sink, but then she's teaching me a lesson to every mess that I make to clean up, and it's a cycle. It's the same cycle, and I think it's a different experience how she presents it, because now that I'm married and I have kids and I have a son, you know, explaining the relationship of the family dynamic, and for example, me being able to walk. So basically, I had very, very hard time walking. But at that point in my life, my son was starting to walk. You know, he would crawl, he'd wobble and stuff like that. And when he ate, he just eat without abandon. You know how the
Yeah.
babies just eat and all this stuff comes out of your mouth, like they're down their chin.
Yeah.
And so
Gotcha.
there are signs too. So before I was taking it, it's like she knew I was going to go through with the experience, and so so I was given signs. So like I'd be going to the store, and it's like for some reason I just want to buy fresh fruit, and it's like, okay, I'll buy fresh fruit, and like lemons and oranges, citrus especially, and then like after I take the ayahuasca experience, she tells me to eat the fresh fruit. That's how I get the poison out of it and get back grounded to earth. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. So I was looking, and it's like, oh my goodness, all these signs. She's giving it to me before I even took this experience. How does that happen? And then I look online to again get people's experiences, and there are certain websites and stuff and videos saying, oh, you want to prepare it by buying fresh fruit and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, that would have been useful to know beforehand. But again, she gave me signs that I didn't even have to look. She prepared me for it before I thought I was really prepared, because I'm one of those who will take it without trying to know as much about it, like all the details, but see if I get that same experience that people have. And so it was just weird, because her wisdom, she breaks down everything simply. And the first one is she shows you or tells you who you are and what you're capable of, and whether if that's what you want, or it's like if your goal is to do what you're meant to do, then she's going to help you achieve it. And I'm like going, all right. So so there's a lot of things within that first time. So the second time I go, and I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, oh, I'm strong. I could do anything. I'm invincible. And then I go the second time, and of course I'm not humble at all. I'm just, you know, what is that? Very, I think I know it all, and you know, I'm immortal or whatever, you know, because of the strength that she showed me that I'm capable of. And then the second time, she shows how weak I am, you know, how I presume that I have all this power, but the only reason I have all that power is she gives it to me, and that if I don't have someone out there within the world, the material world, or just the conscious world where you connect to people, is that you can vibrate away to nothingness. It doesn't, and the thing is, that'll show you how strong you really are, because once you die and you don't have any line with a connection with anyone else, that you're going to have to just hold on to that. And the stronger you are, the more you'll vibrate, and the faster you'll vibrate away. So you have to relax a bit. Otherwise you're going to, it's just very weird. It was like
like a seizure or something.
No, it's like, you know how when you think about someone dying, their whole body, all their muscles clench up and seize up together. The corpses are always like,
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's that
rigor
same
mortis.
Rigor mortis. There you go. But within that, it's like, so it feels like you have tremendous strength as you're dying, but then you realize you are dying. That if you hold on too much of this power you think that you have, you're actually gonna die. So I had to practice letting go, releasing myself, and then, you know, I get next to my wife, and my wife was important. She was in her bedroom sleeping, and both times she'd wake up, I was like, is everything okay? What's wrong? What's going? Like the first time she was laughing. Second time she was like, are you okay? Or are you gonna be okay?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't know. This is weird. This is not good. So the second one is just to, you know, you don't want to close ties with people in life. You know, seeking forgiveness is a big thing because that's how you kind of keep the connections, and being humble is the path to strength. And it doesn't matter how strong you are, eventually you can't hold on forever, and you're going to vibrate away to nothingness. So you need someone to keep you where you don't have to try so hard. You can let go, and someone will prevent you from vibrating away. It's a weird concept. So afterwards, what do? I go to everyone, people who I've never really talked to in long time. Even my father, contact with him, and my aunt, and like, I apologize.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that with your dad and your wife, because she's a different race.
Yeah, and
my wife is a different race too. So
yeah, so the experience changed my behavior. I didn't have to do it. I wasn't scared. I mean, it's like a weird experience. Like, I knew I didn't have to be scared because I do have connections, like my wife and my like my brother and my mom and my kids, but still, it was more of a thing of, why just disconnect from people I've made connections with? Why not try to reconnect? And what's keeping the connection, disconnected? It's like all it takes is just a few words, right? Apology. And it's like, okay, so I did that. But then some people didn't like to accept the apology. Instead,
sure,
they'll double down. It's like,
of course,
you are dangerous, you're violent, you are stupid, or you've done too much things that you'll never be forgiven. And I'm like, oh, I can't do anything about that. But again, I am sorry, and if you do want to, be a part of my life, I am for it, type of thing. So it's definitely life-changing experience, and I'm glad I've been through that experience. I don't know if I'm ready for the next one. I don't know if I've learned the lessons of the second lesson, the second experience, to feel that I'm ready for a third one, but I think I might. And part of the lead up to the second one is, my question is, how do I live between the ayahuasca experience world and the material current world? But I don't think you can. And she was showing me that I shouldn't. I have to fully be within this one, otherwise, something won't be good if I try to skip past that. So it's weird. But anyways, I've got to get going. Any last thoughts?
Right, awesome. That was really interesting. I want to look into that and see if everybody has, or how everybody's interpretation of it, which you said is the same, right?
Yeah. And,
yeah. And I've disconnected completely from my family, so that's kind of weird.
Your second experience, if you take ayahuasca, just make sure you have your loved ones close by.
Yeah. No, I don't talk to anybody. My mom, my sisters, but they're either drug addicts or schizophrenic, or so.
Yeah.
It's just, but yeah.
All right, cool. It was good talking to you. And
awesome, man.
Yeah, I'll probably talk with you another time.
Yeah, definitely, man.
All
See ya.
See ya. Thank you, everybody who's joining and listening.